Welcome back to the Daily Move. This is part of the 4-week mobility challenge. This is week 3, day 2. What you're going to need is a foam roller, some light weights, a wall, a rolled up towel, and also a chair. So go grab what you need and we're going to get started here shortly. Today's focus is going to be mainly in the upper body and getting that thoracic to loosen up. So we're going to start side lying here with the foam roller up into our armpit. Just rolling back and forth here. So next you're going to lie on it so that your chest goes into the foam roller, getting into that pectoral muscle. And you can absolutely decide to do this with a ball versus a foam roller, wherever you feel like you're getting the most benefit out of this. So next we're going to get into the tricep here. So the tricep muscle is the muscle that's on the back of our arm. And now we're going to switch sides, starting back in that armpit area. So this is hitting your lat, your teres major, some other tissues like your serratus is in there. Okay, next lying on your stomach, hitting into that pec muscle. And if you want, we can also add in that bicep. Flipping that arm over, getting into that tricep muscle. Next, you're going to put the foam roller on the ground and then you're going to lie on it so it's lengthwise on the back here. You can go up and down, or what you can do is you can arch over top of the roll as well, almost like you're doing a miniature sit-up and then relaxing the tension. You can try moving the foam roller down the spine a little bit, finding new areas of stiffness that you want to breathe through, creating more space, more freedom, and more movement. So you can play around with just rolling on the foam roller, or melting over top, or doing a combination of both. Next, you're going to switch the foam roller so that it lines where your spine is. And if you have some light weights, this is when you want to pull them out. Completely optional though. So with your spine and your head supported by the foam roller, you can always put pillows behind your head if you've got a shorter foam roller. You're going to grab the weights in the arms and you're going to slowly go into this cactus pose here. Now you want your elbows and wrist at the same level here. As you breathe in and breathe out, you're going to try to relax. Your arms may or may not hit the floor. That's not the goal. The goal is to feel the stretch in that pec muscle in your chest. So now what I'm doing here is I'm sliding my arms up a little bit and back down, only if you have control in this motion. Make sure that your chin is tucked. All right, so we're kind of going from a neutral position down towards the foam roller, and now we're going to switch that from a neutral position to overhead. Neutral being that the elbow's in line with the shoulder there. And if you want, you can work through the full range as well, whatever feels good. So what I'm doing here is I'm contracting my pec muscles to lift my elbow and the weight off the ground at the same time, and then relaxing into a deeper pec stretch there. It's a little contraction there and fully relaxing. Now a few more of these. Now, very important as you get out of this, drop the weights before you come back up. All right, we're gonna stand on up, find a wall. We're gonna do some spinal waves here. So what we're trying to do is get our nose to touch the wall, then our chin, then our chest, then our sternum, then our belly button, then our hips. And we're going through that cycle. So take your time here. You want to look really smooth here. You want to look more like a wave. But it's okay to start it out chunky and then smoothen it out as you go. Now we're going to turn our backs towards the wall. And now what we're trying to do is you get your butt to touch, and then you're gonna peel your butt away from the wall, getting the next part of your vertebrae to touch, moving all the way up that spine. Now you may find one easier to connect with than the other. I always find this one a little bit more challenging to connect with than the front one. Again, looking for that wave-like quality, trying to smooth it out. So next we're going to go onto our hands and knees here, and we're going to do a spinal wave. So you start in almost like a child's pose position, and then you end up more in a cobra position. So we are trying to get every piece of the vertebrae to move here, creating a spinal wave just like what we were doing standing, but now onto the floor. And it's okay just to start with the motion, and then every time that you practice this, just refine it a little bit more. I know mine's not perfect yet. I certainly don't have that wave-like quality fully throughout the spine. There are definitely areas of my spine that don't want to move as much. But I notice the more that I practice this, the smoother it gets. So now we're going to go into a cat-cow position here. And then we're also doing some side bends. So you're reaching up, going to the side, sinking down, and creating a circle here with the spine. If you can, try reversing directions. So again, what you're doing is a cat, a side bend, a cow, a side bend. That's how you're creating that circle. Take your time. It's not going to look fluid the first time you do it. It's not going to feel fluid the first time you do it. But the more you practice it, the easier it's going to get that flow. All right, push back into child's pose here. And we're going to do some cat-cows here where you're pushing your spine up towards the ceiling and then relaxing down. What's nice about doing these cat-cows in a child's pose position is it moves that target point higher up into the spine. This is a spot that often gets stuck because our head posture when we're looking at our phones. So next we're going to roll up a towel here. And we're placing it just underneath the shoulder blades here, hands behind the back. And you're going to slowly allow the head to go back down towards the floor. Do a mini crunch back up and melt over top of that roll again. Mini crunch again and melt. So we're targeting that same position again, or that same spot in the spine that seems to always get stuck with our heads in that forward head posture that we unfortunately seem to be getting into a really good habit of. We need to break that. So next, you're going to butterfly the elbows, bringing the elbows to touch each other in the center, and then bringing the elbows down towards the floor. Okay, next we're going to do a floor angel. So you're going to reach your hands over top of your head and then slide the elbows back down towards that rolled up towel. So keep going with these floor slides. I'm just letting you know what's coming up next. You are going to need that chair. All right, make your way up, find that chair. You're going to take a seat. Cross your hands over, and what we're going to do is create circles. So we're going to side bend our body to one side. I'm just showing you what side bending looks like here. And then you're going to flex your spine and extend your spine. Now we're going to create a circle with that. So you're going to side bend, you're going to flex, side bend to the other side, go into that extension. So you can continue to go in the same direction for 3 to 4 repetitions, or you can decide to alternate every time. That's a personal choice. I wouldn't say one way is better than the other. In fact, variety is best, so your body knows how to respond either way. Making sure when you're creating that circles, it's happening at the spine, not at your hips. Your knees and hips should not be moving throughout this. So next we're going to reach forward, flexing the spine, and then opening up the arms, getting the chest and going into that spinal extension. Next, you're going to reach over top of your head, feeling a nice stretch into the side body there, alternating sides. Remembering to breathe here. That's what's going to let go of that tension. So next, you're going to take your fingertips and just place them on your shoulder caps. And you're going to start twisting. So you want to turn so that you can face to the back. Control that motion back to center and repeat that to the opposite side. Being mindful that that motion's coming from the spine again and not just from the hips twisting. So next you're going to lean forward, place one hand on the floor, twist your spine so that your other hand reaches up towards the ceiling. And we're just going to alternate sides here. This is a great exercise to do if you need a break from your desk throughout the day. Just leaning forward and feeling a nice stretch. So next you're going to cross one leg over the other. You're going to sit up nice and tall and start hinging forward. You should feel a stretch in the glute of the leg that's on top. Switching sides here, doing the same thing, creating that figure four, nice tall spine, and you're going to hinge at the hips forward, feeling a nice stretch into the glute. It's good to take note of one side's tighter than the other. So next what we're going to work on is hip internal external rotation. So you can see that my hands are squeezing onto my leg here and I'm kicking my leg outwards. So that is hip internal rotation. So how much can I get that leg bone, that femur bone, to rotate inwards into that socket? Hold for a few seconds before switching sides. Now you don't need your hands to actually assist, but when you're first starting to learn this motion, it makes it a lot easier to have your hands creating that motion for you. But I am a huge advocate that we should be able to do this actively, meaning that we don't need our hands to create that motion. So now we're working hip external rotation, where we're turning the leg bone outwards. As a result, the heel comes in. It's the same thing. You can use your hands for assistance, but the goal eventually will be doing it without the hands. But the hands are a great tool to start teaching the body on how to get into those positions and that it is a safe position, especially with these ranges that we don't typically work. So next we're working hip flexion. So without leaning your spine back, how high can you bring that knee up? Now my hands are placed on my thigh, but I'm not creating any resistance here. I'm just letting my knee come up towards my chest, holding for a few seconds and switching sides. Being very mindful that I'm not compensating with my spine, leaning back to get more range of motion. So next we're going to work hip extension here. So you're going to be on all fours, grab that towel, place it down onto your sacrum there. This is going to be good feedback if you're cheating with your back. So what we're trying to do is hip extend. So lifting that leg up towards the ceiling, squeezing the glute muscles to get that done without arching the back. So here I'm alternating sides. If you wish to stick on one side for 5 reps and then repeat that on the other leg, you can, or you can alternate. So next what you can try doing is like peeing on a fire hydrant, where you're lifting up the knee and the foot at the same time out to the side, being very mindful that you're not going to allow that towel to fall. And that's going to wrap up your daily move for the day. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you liked the video, make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and share with a friend who could benefit from these. Take care.